A special good evening to all, good afternoon to all our viewers here. We are just following some news and we thought that we would have come with an update to you, our viewers. Greetings, folks. And we know we are off schedule, but I'm just here to give you a heads up on some of the news that I'm working on. I've been working on throughout the weekend and even this morning, and so I want to greet everyone. Thank you for your support. We are over 2 million counting viewers from around the world, and we are your number one new WP news station. This is where we gather news, not official UWP, but we gather news and we bring it to you, happenings there with the United Workers' Party and also the Labour Party government there in St. Lucia. But I want to greet everyone. Please share the live as much as you can. Again, greetings to all those of you who have the little time to log in with me here on the platform. I forgot my glasses somewhere in studio. It is not on the desk here with me, and so I will have to feel my way around. Please do forgive me, my people. And so we are following a number of developments there in St. Lucia. Last night, you would have been privy to a town hall meeting there with I think it's Swazel with the United Workers' Party, and Mr. Fede indicated that the government, based on the new health and security levy, that the government will be taxing, putting a tax. The tax will also, the levy will also affect charcoal on the island of St. Lucia. We got a report from Lisa Joae from the St. Lucia Labour Party. I believe she is the communication person there, and also a senator from the ruling party. She's a young politician, and so let's read a statement from her this morning on her Facebook page. Now, I have been back and forth with her, trying to get some clarity on the matter. I have also spoken to Mr. Senator Dominic Fede earlier today, maybe twice. We had conversations in order for me to be able to speak to you, my people, not speculate and play any games with these new developments. And so I took the time to look up the information, to ask questions, and respectfully I spoke to Lisa through text communications on Facebook, and I requested from her clarification on this statement. And I read, there was a levy, and this is from Lisa on her page, Joai from the St. Lucia Labour Party, senator there in St. Lucia. And I quote from her, she says here, let me just see if I can pull it over to you from me. And she says here, there must be a levy for every time Dominic Fede speaks. The government would have made that 33 million already. 33 million already. And then let me just pull it back to me so that I can read to you. You cannot be so blatant with your lies and say that government is putting a levy on charcoal when you came as a thief in the night to try to rush a bill to tax charcoal, tax black pudding, etc. Who you think you're fooling? And this is from young Senator Joai from the St. Lucia Labour Party. And I would remind politicians that, and I'm not disrespecting her, I'm not going to do that. She's a young, promising politician in St. Lucia, but I believe that there are certain standards that we would expect from our politicians, all right? And so I sincerely ask her to clarify the lies that she accused Mr. Senator Fede of spewing to the people of St. Lucia. Now, there are two pieces of news that we're following. This new tax levy that we're finding out might affect charcoal, and I will tell you something about that. This is not an official show, but I would just touch on it before we leave the platform. And also, we have the Dyer Mall situation there in St. Lucia, and we have some breaking developments on the Dyer Mall that I would have to revisit. Remember, we had on this platform that discussion with the sale and the renovation of the Dyer Mall in St. Lucia, and so there's some breaking developments that we'll want to share with you, our listeners. And what we do on the platform is that we present we present to you the news in the news, after the news sometimes, or sometimes we break the news. And then what we try to do is, maybe it will take a few weeks, sometimes it takes a few months, but we always go back to those pieces of news that we have presented to you. We still have some police reports in the Dennery Valley area that we're still following. The child that was bullied, we're still on it. The situation with the 3 huts in Dennery, we are still on that. The conditions of our roads and schools in Dennery, we are still on that. Roads around the country, we are still on that. St. Jude's, we are still on it. The airport, we are still on it. We are still on the Banans land. We are still on all those developments that were presented to you. And so as we get more light, we come back to you. And so we're coming back to you on the Dyer Mall situation there in St. Lucia. And we will touch base on it. This is not our official show, but there is so much that I want to give you a heads up as to some of the things that I am working on personally. And my commitment again is to the truth. I believe that the truth will set us free. I strongly believe that. And friends, what I will never do is to deliberately come here to mislead you. If there are corrections that needs to be made when I present something here, I will do it. I have nothing to lose and I have nothing to gain in misleading or lying to you, the St. Lucian people. So as I said that, let's go back to Miss Lisa Joai and what she's saying. So she accused Mr. Fede of lying. Mr. Fede quoted from the new health and security bill that was passed in the House and was passed also in the Senate. It is the Health and Security Levy Bill 2023. Now, I had the privilege of going through that law. I have it on my desk right now. I also have a private report that I'm taking my time to go through. That private report is concerning the police and the impacts report, the impact story. That in itself, we have to be careful how we present it, and therefore I am seeking wisdom and legal advice in discussing that, because we do not want to put a dark cloud over St. Lucia, over the government, over the police. We want to be very responsible in our presentations here. We're following that also. And there's another report from the St. Jude's Hospital, a review that was done, and we have that also. And so my job is a lot. I do not have the time. I wish I can leave my job and be here with you and spend all my time just researching and presenting findings to you. But it takes money, it takes time and effort, and I can no longer do this free of charge for the parties who are involved. All right. So let us go back to the health and security levy on the charcoal. So I went through the law, the bill that was passed, and on the section 1, chapter 44, it speaks of wood and articles of wood. It also refers to wood charcoal. Wood charcoal. Now, I want you to stay with me very carefully, friends. This is very serious, and I just want to warn governments and lawmakers, when you are writing laws, when you are implementing taxes and you are putting burden on the people of St. Lucia, you want to be very sure of what you're doing. Your wording must be accurate. There is absolutely no room for error when you as a lawmaker are bringing out laws to be debated in our, yes, you debate it and you do amendments, but you want to be very sure that when you have your final vote, that everything is 90-something% okay. You're not going to get everything right, but we have a problem with wording, words that are being used, terminology when it comes to laws, and it means that our politicians are not paying due diligence, and also our attorney general and those who are legally responsible to ensure that those bills are carefully thought out and are presented to the people. You look at the impact of those bills, how it's going to impact the poor in the society, how it's going to impact the vendors, how it's going to impact consumers. And so you want to be responsible when you are putting laws out. So it's not a matter of copy and pasting from other countries, looking at Dominica or the United States and just copy and paste laws, compile it into a document and come and present it to the St. Lucian people. We are expecting our politicians, our lawmakers, to be one, responsible, to be smart, and to be innovative. Those are some of the basic things that we expect from our politicians when it comes to the implementations of laws in the country. And that's why when you're having those debate, friends, you cannot be focusing on people's character. You cannot be focusing on petty, stuff that distracts you from some of the wordings that need to be corrected. For instance, politicians, what we realize in St. Lucia now is that they spend more time cussing off each other, getting at each other, aggravating each other, than focusing on the bill. What are the wording? What needs to be corrected? And so all their time is spent and it shows you that they don't care much about you when you look at it. It is all about them, how they feel at the moment, winning the elections. And so that's why we have this confusion now. And thank God Dominic brought it out last night at the town hall meeting. And it proves to me that those town hall meetings are important, especially when you have bills coming out, major bills. They should be debated in different communities around St. Lucia. It must be debated among the people first. I don't believe that it should go in the House and you have this long back and forth fighting. I think parties, both the opposition and the government, need to go out in the communities and present those, have a discussion with the citizens of the country when it comes to some of these bills. So, for instance, Mr. Fede indicated to us that there's going to be taxes on charcoal, wood charcoal. Lisa says, no, there is not going to be any taxes on charcoal. It's a lie. Dominic is lying. Okay. So let us go through this just for a few seconds. I'm just sharing with you what I'm working on right now. And so far, I have had good communications with Dominic, and I've had good conversations with Lisa Joai online. She have not been disrespectful. We've been very in our communication. I ask a question, she responds to the best of her knowledge and her ability, and I really respect that. That's what we need in our society, talking to each other, dealing with the issues, bills, matters that affect our society. Let us get away from all this Bepui and whose foot is big and who is short and who is tall and who is this and that. Let's try to get away from that and focus on nation building. And to do nation building, friends, we need to talk to each other. We need to talk to each other. And I was really happy this morning that I was able to talk to Dominic. Dominic is on my team and Lisa is on the other side of the aisle, and we were able to have conversations. And I was able to, in the middle of both sides, I was able to stay as much center as possible and just read what the bill is saying and come to a conclusion. And here's my conclusion so far, based on what I've read from that bill that was passed there in St. Lucia, in the House and the Senate by the St. Lucia Labour Party. For me, it was not well thought of. The wording was incorrect. For instance, Lisa said to me after she said to me that Dominic is lying and that's not true, blah, blah, blah. So I spoke to Dominic. He said, yes, Garfield, just look at the bill. So I followed him. I went to the bill and I saw some things. I asked him for clarity on some of the wordings, and so he gave me the clarity. I went back and I read it and I saw clearly the points. Lisa said, one, he's lying. Two, she said basically there's no levy or 2.5% on wood charcoal. So when I went through the bill and I came across certain sections or schedule within the bill that used the term wood charcoal, and that's on the section 44, the chapter 44. A matter of fact, page 8, schedule 1, chapter 44. It speaks of wood and articles of wood. Then it speaks separately of wood charcoal. So for me, it means that Dominic was right when he said that wood charcoal would be taxed. Now, the only exclusion of a tax, any wood items attracting taxes in the schedule, was 44.1, I believe. It has nothing to do with wood charcoal, which means wood charcoal will attract a 2.5% on the new health and security bill. So I would say to Lisa that might not have been the right response to Dominic by calling him a liar, because it proves now that it would appear to me that the lawmakers don't understand the bill that they're passing. They're just passing bills carelessly, and they're not focusing on the wording of those bills, words. And that's why sometimes when you can challenge some of these laws in court and win. Why? Because the wording, the intention might not be exactly what the wording is saying. And so again, instead of cussing each other, calling each other liar like what we see here, bring clarity, explain. Let the people decide who is lying. But as lawmakers, don't call each other liar and all these things. Allow us to decide that. You present us the facts. But to call another lawmaker a liar, I think that's unbecoming, and we should never accept it in our society, in our politics. Lucia, it must be condemned. It must be condemned. All right? So let's look at this. So Lisa says, right, in her response to Dominic last night, she says, if the government, every time Dominic speak, they would have already made the $33 million. So their budget that they want to make $33 million from you, from the 2.5%. 2.5%, 33 million. And she kind of gave a jab, make it into a joke there. But $33 million comes out of the pocket of St. Lucians. That can never be a joke. It can never be a joke. It's not funny for poorer families. Can never be funny. And that's why politicians need to stay in their lane. Understand their limited power. And until it is removed from you, function on behalf of the citizens of St. Lucia. So Dominic was right. So I got that law, the schedule and chapter, and I refer it back to her, maybe half an hour ago or an hour ago. I referred it back to her, and I asked her to explain to me this section. Then she said to me, and I believe if you go on her page, you will see my communication too with her, because I believe that side is public. And so she said to me, well, Dominic knows better that the charcoal we are talking about is imported charcoal. What? Brethren, for those of you who saw the law or the bill, this bill says nothing, absolutely nothing about imported charcoal. It said wood charcoal. Now here is where wording matters, and persons must know when they're copy and pasting laws, whether the laws can be adjusted for their country. Now, if you're talking about charcoal here in the United States, not all charcoal are wood charcoal. I'm going to say that again. Not all charcoal are wood charcoal. So you want to be careful how you take laws from other countries, copy and paste it into your country. So, let's go slowly again. So one, the law, the bill that was passed and discussed The word in there is wood charcoal, 2.5%. That's the bill. Lisa is saying, no, Garfield, it is imported charcoal. So if the charcoal is not wood, it is just charcoal, then I'm not sure whether it's, I'm not sure how it fit into the bill, that's the truth. But your bill says wood charcoal. So maybe, like I recommended to her, maybe the bill should have actually said imported charcoal. Imported charcoal. So you see where Dominic is right, because he's reading from the bill. But Lisa and her government might have had that in their head, but it is not reflected in the law, in the bill that was passed. So folks, you understand what I'm saying? Words do have meaning and also have consequences. And for now, what we will say, now she said to me, well, charcoal don't have taxes. Charcoal don't have, there's no VAT on charcoal. So maybe they're talking about the charcoal where you put in you cut the tree and you do your local stuff, blah, blah, blah. People are saying, oh, that is going to attract. But who collects that from vendors around St. Lucia? So she's saying, look, it is products that already attract a tax, which is bad if you're going to, if there's taxes on a product already and you're adding another 2.5%, it means that you're adding a burden to the citizens of the country. That's what it means also in that explanation. So my question is, have this been thought out carefully by the government? And instead of calling people liar, explain to us, clarify it. And it came to my attention that there was a regular briefing by the Prime Minister, and one of the reporters challenged him, questioned him on it, and he said no, no, that's not the case. And when the reporter pulled the bill and showed it to him, he's and I'm just quoting, this is what I was told, that he said, I didn't know about that, and that will have to be amended. So we await that news later on in the regular news broadcast tonight to see if that is true, whether the Prime Minister was shocked to know that that 2.5%, there's a little confusion there, and maybe they got to make things clear. They got to clear up this whole idea. And I thank Fede again for bringing it out and sharing it with us, the truth of this situation. So they got to change the wording. They got to go back to the Senate, go back to the House, and make some amendments to some of these laws. And we've seen them rush stuff and having to keep amending. This 2.5% have been amended so often. It's like they keep going back and back, and it's like nobody sits down, take their time to organize. We have a call coming in. Let's take this call. Caller, you on the air. Caribbean American News Media.
Good afternoon. I could be short.
Good afternoon, my friend. Thank you. Welcome.
Captain, you really believe that Prime Minister said he ain't know about that? That man don't know nothing. That man never, he knows, he does everything, and he never knows. The man is a damn liar. The man is a compulsive, pathological liar. That's what he is. He never knows nothing. When you expose the cards to him, he never knows, Garfield. You don't see that? I'll always give you all the impression that what happened there? What happened there? The man is a pathological liar. He cannot help it. Every day he lies. Every day. Not a day this man doesn't lie, Garfield. Stop making this man pull the wool over your eyes. Come on, Garfield, man. You're smarter than that. Every day, the man, he don't know about that. He don't know. He never knows. He never knows. You know why? Because he knows that most solutions are dumb, backward, stupid, and gullible. So he says anything now, and tomorrow he says something else. That's here. You don't understand that? You think somebody like Mayor Motley or any prime minister anywhere in the world could come on world stage and like to be fueled every day like that? Like a solution? And solution just taking it like no big deal? I have never seen a prime minister lie so much in my life. Never. Every day. There's not a weakness man not tell a lie. You really believe that the man don't know about that? You really believe that, Garfield? Or none of his men, none of his 14 members of the Mongoose gang don't know about that? Garfield, believe that, Garfield? Garfield, I have been to no secondary school. I've been to no college. I've been to no university. I only been to Anglican. You really believe that none of these men see that? They see that they know about that? They don't care, Garfield. I haven't called a talk show. I haven't called you in a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm watching you and you reading that. And you're saying, I never know. He never know what Martinique put in the pressure on St. Lucia. He ain't know about that. He don't know nothing. He said, when you see the price of goods going up, don't blame him. Blame the merchants. All that crap the man has talked to y'all. Garfield, that man has to go. The man just lies every. Garfield, listen to me. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. But when you have a man lying to you every day, Garfield, you can write a library of what he lies this man is telling you, man. He cannot help it. He's a compulsive, pathological liar. He cannot help it, Garfield. Right? I want you to sit down one day at home and write down the lies that this man has told since he's been in office. I'm not talking about since he's been in office. Hey, he never knows. That's what he said. If you come his mind, when they ask me, I go tell them, I don't know about that. Because most solutions are damn stupid.
Well, I wouldn't say most St. Lucians are stupid because they're very smart, bright people there too. Caller.
What's smart? What's smart? The bunch of garbage this man doing down there again. Anyway, some of St. Lucians are smart. Well, they're suckers. They're suckers of punishment. Then they're suckers of punishment. The more garbage. Listen to me, man. The things this man does down there. In no country, man be sitting on that chair. And he and the rest of the Mongoose gang lying and breaking up messing up churches and all kind of nonsense. And you name it, those guys have done. You name it, those guys have done that. That's why he named them the Mongoose gang, John B. government. Because they don't care. Let's take care of the boys and the girls and be all right. But if they'll deal with a country like Haiti, a country like Bermuda, and the kind of places, now they won't listen to me. They won't try none of those things they're doing there. Yeah. Every day, you don't know about that. Every day, you don't know about that. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Come on, Garfield, man. You're an educated man. You're a smart man, Garfield. You really believe that man don't know about that? You really believe that? And none of his members of the Mongoose gang is showing that? They see it. You just thought that will roll over, that nobody can see it. Come on, Garfield. You think Joe Biden can try that in America? You think Joe Biden can lie to the people so every day? I'm asking you, sir. You think Joe Biden can lie to Americans every day or every week? He found out he's a lie, he lying, and sit down in that chair. Come on, Garfield, let's be real, man. Be real, Garfield.
Yeah.
I don't want you to like me. I don't want you to like me. This is the first time I call talk shows in a long time. I don't want you to like me. I call a spade, man.
Yeah, we've not heard you in a long time, but you know, I'll disagree with you that our people are backwards and our people are not smart. I believe that St. Lucians are bright, they're smart, and
they're bright and smart and all those good. You want me call something for you?
yeah.
They give you an international hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You going to Okamawe. They give you an international racetrack. Now, when I went to Barbados, the first thing the boys did to me, call me and tell me, James, come here. Come here.
Mm-hmm.
I see you have an international racetrack in the Caribbean, in St. Lucia. What y'all doing in that? Y'all don't know nothing about horse racing. Y'all too stupid. Come and get a flat on your head and take that from y'all. And they're right. They don't want that racetrack. They're going to the Caribbean.
Well,
they're going to the Caribbean.
That's their choice. That's what they want. They want what they want, and
that's going backwards. That's where the backwardness coming. Garfield, that's what I'm saying to you. That's where the backwardness coming.
Well, some people are not progressive. You know, some people just want to be stagnant. They want to be where they are.
A whole country not progressive. A whole country, and they sit down there and watch this man. I watch this Mongoose gang government just do what they like.
Well, again, I keep telling you folks that righteousness exalts a nation. You know, you got to do what is right. You know, and you can't call yourself a godly nation and then you turn your back on God.
And listen to you speak. And the man said, I didn't know. It's 15 of them, including the speaker, more than 15 of them, and the lawyers. You are telling me none of them see that? You are saying that to me? Garfield, you say that to me and none of them see that? And none of them know that? Well, you are saying that the Prime Minister, none of the Mongoose gang, you know that, Garfield? That's what you're saying to me?
No. I was just repeating what I was told. I did not come to a conclusion because I did not hear it for myself. So I want to be responsible when I hear it for myself.
What you just repeat? What you just repeat there?
I got it from good source.
Go away with that garbage.
Yeah.
I will tell her go away with that garbage.
Okay.
That's insulting my intelligence.
Okay. All right. No problem, brother. We have limited time today, but nice hearing you, you know.
Go ahead, man. You go ahead, man.
You sound like you're in good health. Thank you. Blessings.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I listen to you all, man, because I can't talk to people. I can't talk to stupid people. I ain't getting nowhere with them.
Nah, man.
I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, the people are not stupid. Don't worry. Okay. Blessings. Yeah, folks. So I know you folks, you St. Lucians, you're not stupid. You're not dumb. You're intelligent people. And we should not bring down a whole nation. Let me ask Allison. I'm getting a call. The number is 929-586-1821. Let me take this call. This is not an official show, but I will take your calls. Let me see if I can get, if somebody can, the number is 929-586-1821. The other number would not get you on the air. So you keep hearing that number calling, all right? So let me just call, see if I can get contact with that individual there. Just bear with me. I know that person is trying to get me. I don't want to call the name publicly. Okay, good. So I will put through that call instead on the system. All right. Sorry, my friend. I had you on the wrong. You were calling through the wrong number.
I realize that.
Yes. Welcome. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend. Mm-hmm.
I would just like to comment a little on the charcoal bill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In my heart of hearts, Garfield, Senator Joanne know very well. She know very well what she was doing. Okay? The thing is that Dominic, Senator Pede, caught them in the tracks. You know, he uncovered the lies. They knew. Okay?
Yep.
Now, let's go. She said that the levy is on the like let's say international charcoal,
Yeah, imported.
right?
Yes.
Which is like the charcoal made from the stone,
Right. Yeah, because there are different types. There's
right?
some that are made from wood, and there's some.
Yes,
Yes, that comes in the package. I
made
buy
from
them
the
every
stone.
year.
So I am guessing
Yeah.
the one she's referring to is probably the one imported.
Yeah, the imported. That's what she said. It's imported charcoal, but their charcoal. It says wood product, but they're charcoal that are not wood product.
Yeah. But these people know very well what they're doing. They know it's not a no imported charcoal. They put the prices on the local charcoal. Because how many people order that the international charcoal? How many locals, how many St. Lucians order that thing for the government to make a profit off of it?
Yeah, that's a good question because St. Lucians would prefer to buy their little wood coals by the neighbor.
Thank you.
Or at the grocery store.
Let me tell you, Garfield. The only businesses that order that charcoal are the hotels. Okay? To do the grill food, the char grill food. All right?
Oh.
And when that is finished, they don't even bother to order these things again. They go direct to the local ones. And they order in bulks. Like they will purchase 5 bags or 6 bags or 8 bags.
Wow.
For
I
the
didn't
month.
know that. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell Lisa, go back with that and stop lying. Every time these people open their mouth is a lie, and God is always exposing them. That is the good thing about it, That is the wonderful thing about it. God's light is always shining on them. Always shining on them, so they will not win unless these people don't start speaking the truth. God will always bring shame to them. And that is exactly what is happening with the government of St. Lucia. They're lying too much. And they will not stand. They will not survive underneath the lies. They will not survive underneath the lies. Like you always say, and I know, righteousness exalts a nation.
Amen. True. So
and
true.
Unless they don't come straight, because the God you see that I serve, He's alive and well.
Yep.
And He will continue putting them to shame.
That's right. And Alison, the good thing about it, when I spoke to Dominic, he said to me, Garfield, if I am wrong, I will apologize to the people of St. Lucia. But I know what I read in the law, in the bill. He said, if any one of them can show him where he's wrong, he will apologize to the people of St. Lucia.
When they show him, he will apologize. That means he's a man.
Yeah.
He's a man, and there's nothing wrong in that, and you cannot castigate him for saying, well, I was wrong. Because no man is perfect. But show the proof.
Because she said you cannot be so blatant with your lies. That's what she accused him of, lying blatantly. And the man
But that's all what they do, accuse the opposition of lying when they are the sitting government that continue to lie to the people. And that is why God not exposing. I want the Labour Party supporters and the ministers to look at what is happening in front of them. Everything that they have tried to pin on the opposition, it never sticks. It never sticks. The way you run your politics in 2021, it's not going to save y'all.
I'm just realizing.
Because in 2021, the people of St. Lucia forgot the God I serve. And they went with the chaos and the mayhem that was happening in the country. At that time, their stomachs were filled. They were not hungry. They were lying to you all, telling you all the people were hungry at that time. They were not hungry. But now, the people right now, they are hungry. They are dying. They are starving. They are looking for hope. And God is going to bring the clarity to them.
But let me ask you,
the Labour Party lies.
But Alison, you're right, because I think there was a lot of misinformation just looking at how things are happening right now, where there's a actual bill saying to you there is going to be a 2.5% on wood charcoal, and then you have the SLP person saying to us, no, that's a lie. The UWP are lying on us, and this is a good example of misinformation and a lack of information. The other thing I want to share with you as you're here, Alison, do you remember we had this big debate about the Dyer Mall?
Yeah.
Do you know what is happening now? I have an entire presentation to make, I believe, tomorrow night on the Dyer Mall. I really owe it to Mr. Shastney. I really owe it to the United Workers' Party to do this entire program tomorrow on that Dyer Mall saga. You know what the SLP is saying to us now? Do you remember when Mr. Shastney stood up in the House and he was rebuked by the House Speaker and Richard Frederick on the Dyer Mall situation? Where Mr. Shastney said to them that the bottom floor is sold and we will have access to the entire building after we've paid off all the expense on the bill through rent. After 50 years, the building will come back into the hands of the government. The SLP said no. The speaker said, no, I have the document in my hand. That's not true. And blah, blah, blah. And he cautioned Mr. Shastney. And now the SLP is saying to us, Miss, what's her name? Virginia Poyet, I believe her name is. Yeah, she is saying now that, well, yes, the building is finished and we are now studying which government services to move in. And by the way, we will own the building. The building is going to be ours. The 2 floors are ours. For now, the bottom is sold and we'll get back the whole building. But they were saying to the St. Lucian people that Mr. Shastney is a liar and that...
Gabriel, without cutting you short, you see that Dyer Mall building there? How long is it since Sir John Compton passed? How long? I want St. Lucian. That's why I tell you, the people of St. Lucian need to pay attention to the politics of the country. You see what the statement Mr. Shastney made about that building? This gentleman was just carrying out Sir John Compton's vision. Because it's not now that piece of document have been on the desk of the prime ministers. You get where I'm coming from?
Right. I got you.
That project belonged to Sir John Compton, and that was his words. He said that their mall is to accommodate some of the government businesses to go in there, so that will release the pressure of the people of the offices in town. It will assist the people in the north. That was Sir John Compton's words. That have been there from since Sir John had that deal with the Dyer Mall. And he passed, and that was laying, I bet you, that document have been laying on the desk of Stevenson King, and he just didn't know how to accomplish it.
Yeah.
You can call any members of the UWP and ask them if you want further clarification on that.
Yeah.
But I bet you, I heard Sir John Compton said that in my ears. With my ears God gave me.
And that is more than 16 years ago.
So the man did not lie. If St. Lucians were following and paying attention to the politics, they would have known all about that. When Mr. Shastney came in the house, they would have known everything. They would have said, yes, that was the purpose of the building. Okay? So that's why I tell you, they cannot trap me and they cannot fool me. And these are the things that UWP supporters need to know. So when these people come out with that crap, you can send it in the ocean. Because that's where Satan is. Send it in the ocean. This is the information that we need to equip ourselves in. So when we on the ground, we can talk to the people, not curse the Labour Party supporters. Talk to them. That's the information we have to bring to them.
What we cannot do is to be cussing off each other. We can debunk misinformation, clarify by presenting the facts, the truth, like we're doing now.
And today, all of them will be running up there, but they call Alan a liar. God have to expose these people and bring them further into disrepute and just put them to shame completely.
Because what I heard, right? And
I live to see the day that God say my job with this SLP administration in St. Lucia is over. I live to see, I pray to God that I see the day.
But you make a lot of sense, Alison, because I heard Healy in his opposition to the Dyer Mall. He said that the Alan Shastney government, he's adding $4 million to the rent burden of the country. So the country is paying $70 million in rent, and so with the Dyer Mall, we're adding $4 million, and that's not the case because they are moving government buildings into that government services into that building, which means that if they were renting 5 buildings in New York in Castries, those 5 buildings, those are 5 rentals that you're getting rid of. You're moving into this one central place. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you add the same agencies that you are moving into a new rental? How are you still saying that is a burden? How are you still counting that as an extra $4 million?
Listen to me. You see this guy they call Ernest Hiller? That guy is a total failure. An embarrassment, just as Philip J. Pierre and his rest of his cabinet. A total embarrassment. And St. Lucians by now, they may not want to admit it, have seen the failure of Philip J. Pierre for the 25 plus years he have been fooling the people of St. Lucia, especially his constituency. That is there like it just fall out from the earth, from the sky, and they just put even the land that God put there with all the trees and stuff is much cleaner than his constituency. A bunch of failures, and God allowed them. God knew exactly what they were doing. It's not that he couldn't stop them. He allowed them to sit there so that he can expose their lies and deceit to the people. And that is the only way the people of St. Lucia could have seen Philip Pierre as a failure. And that was God's plan. They can jump high, they can jump low. That is God's plan. That's the only way. His supporters and the people of St. Lucia, the poor people that have been rooted down in him, could have seen him as a liar and a failure. And don't tell me don't call him a liar, because God calls us liars in his Bible, in his word. The word he gives us to live and sleep and breathe.
Well, if you're not telling the truth, you're
he
lying.
He tell you he hates a lying tongue.
Yeah, it's abomination.
And that's the only way we, the people of St. Lucia, those who supported it, those who knew him, but that couldn't really allow the people of St. Lucia to know and to see it. God had to put his hands in there for him to expose these people.
Wow.
Expose Kenny Anthony's failure for the past 25 years, expose Philip J. Pierre, and St. Lucians can say what they want. They see the failure. They see it. And for St. Lucia to get that break, they have to say, Lord, thank you for showing me. And let us turn away from the wickedness that is going on there. Let us stop adding fire to these fellas. We see their failures. You show it to us. Let us turn our backs from that.
Yeah.
Garfield, I can go on and on,
I know.
already. Have a good afternoon, my darling.
I love your input, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That was our friend Alison George is there. in St. Lucia, she's on the ground, and that's why sometimes we can speak a certain way, those of us who are in the diaspora, but we got to listen a little more to those who are on the ground, who are feeling the pressure. We can repeat like parrot. Like I traveled the last time to St. Lucia, and I saw for myself, some of the areas that need improving, some of the areas in St. Lucia that are neglected, and we got to keep these areas before the people and before our the government, so that they can improve on the lives of our people. Now we have a problem with the roads in Gadet in Dennery, a major problem where the roads are not being fixed, and you have a pothole on the left and a pothole on the right. How do you expect those roads are not safe? Basically, when you talk about road safety, I believe that the government in the real world, those government can be held accountable for some of these accidents on our roadways, because we elect governments to ensure the safety of citizens and visitors, the safety of all persons who walk, who travel, who fly over St. Lucia. The government is responsible for the safety. Road safety, it's a problem when you have potholes on the left, potholes on the right in the same area. Then that's a hazard. It means that somebody will have to try to get away from one hole. The possibility lies where they can run onto a pedestrian, they could run off the road, run on somebody's property, run over into somebody's property, and lives are lost. So I hope the government look at the roads, our road network, all arteries in St. Lucia need to be looked at. I think there need to be a great campaign. We cannot wait until next year to say next year is the year of roads. People will die until we get to next year for the year of roads. Roads should have been fixed. You said to us that you couldn't fix it because of rain. You had sun, you didn't fix it. You almost had snow. You didn't fix it, and the roads, the network is getting worse, and maybe government need to look at the type of material that they're using on their roadways. Now, I believe that they're using cheaper material, not the best grade of materials for our road networks, and maybe the roads are not being given proper foundation before you lay some of those asphalt or whatever you use, Baba Green, on the roadways. The government need to pause, look at materials that are being used, the quality of work that is being done for the monies that are being spent. I think governments need to stop harassing each other. Government ministers need to stop harassing each other, stop calling each other's out of their names, and get to work on behalf of citizens, because the time that you spend arguing among yourselves and cussing each other off and trying to haul each other into jail, maybe you can use that time to help to look at road structures. How do we improve our roads and lengthen the lifespan of our road networks on the island? These are things that we want you to think about. Think about how are you going to put up safety barriers in areas that need safety barriers. Maybe you need to look at the entire road network structure and see where need to be improved, even going into Canaries, Soufrière, those areas. Look at ways that you can protect the citizens on these roadways. I'm not even sure if you guys have a helicopter and you go and you inspect some of the hills to see if there are loose stones hanging over those hills, loose stones hanging over people's dwelling homes. These are what you do as government. You protect the citizens. And so I am sure in some of those areas like Soufrière, Soisel, and Slurry, and Scanut, and Stalivet, and there's another one, Bouton, that is in Soufrière, that you guys need to start going around and ensure the safety of citizens. You got to look overhead on those hills to see if there are missiles waiting to be released. With all the climate change you're speaking about and the rain and the erosion of our soil, there might be boulders up there that you folks need to pay attention to. Maybe there are boulders that need to be chained down, they need retaining walls to protect the citizens. Maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to look at having helicopters so that you can survey the landscape of St. Lucia. Maybe you need to invest in 2 or 3 helicopters in the country. Maybe it's time for us to really think of moving St. Lucia into a modern age of doing things. Technology is at the cutting edge. And we do not just go throw some dirt into a pothole and drive a roller over it and that's it. And then by the time the morning comes, there's a big hole again. So it is time for us to have proper road maintenance in the country. I strongly believe that. And healthcare is just a total mess. What else can we say about healthcare? And so what we will ask folks to do is to, you politicians, stop the games. Stop playing games with the roads, with healthcare, with the lives of people. Stop playing games with the police officers. Stop playing games with the fisher folks and the farmers. The farmers is another story. Farmers are being abused by politicians. They are being victimized by politicians. Farmers are being punished by politicians. And because there's such a great divide in the country, there's one family where you have a Labour Party supporter and a UWP supporter in the same house, husband and wife. And the husband, who is the farmer, is being penalized by government officials. And the wife, because she's an SLP, her nose is being cut off, her bread stream, her income is being cut, but she don't care. Her favorite rep is in power, but her family suffers. And unless people can wake up out of their slumber and see the reality that this is the moment, this is the time for you, the citizens, to stand up and say, we are responsible for ourselves. We are the ones who put you there to manage our affairs. St. Lucia is ours. St. Lucia is yours. Is it ours? And we got to work together to make it a better place for all citizens. And I am saying, friends, whether you Labour Party or UWP, you got to look out for the interests of your country. It doesn't mean that politicians care about the interests of the people. Politicians sometimes are greedy, selfish, self-centered, and power-hungry. Sometimes they don't care a hoot about you and your family. It is all about you protecting their jobs for them. And the longer you can protect their jobs, the possibility is the poorer you get. Look at our farmers. Our farmers are being abused, brethren, and nobody speaks about it. Farmers are so politically grounded that they do not realize that they are suffering and there's more that can be done for them. Folks, we are borrowing millions of dollars and agriculture gets nothing. I will tell you, consultants get more monies than farmers. Consultants get more monies than farmers. Friends, family, and foreigners get more money than our local farmers. The hotel industry get more monies than farmers from government. Our cousins who are lawyers get more money than farmers. And everybody sits down and they put their hands in the air. We have a food crisis. We can't get dashing. We can't get bananas. And everybody blame it on the hurricane. How in the world the hurricane blow down dashing and Edos? How in the world that happens? If you tell me the bananas, it is easy to help farmers to recover from a hurricane strike on bananas and plantains. It is easy. But nobody cares. Lip service. And unless our